Hi students, welcome to the chemistry sessions. So we are going to discuss today about the CBSE pattern exercise for environmental chemistry chapter. So I hope everybody has gone through the entire concepts. Although this chapter holds not that much of weightage in the examination, but yes, we will be quickly discussing its questions, right? And the first question says, question number 1 to 3 will be carrying 1 mark. Name the 2 greenhouse gases. So you must have studied about the greenhouse effect. And what is that? So greenhouse effect again is responsible, the main culprits are the greenhouse gases which trap the heat coming from the sunlight inside the Earth's atmosphere. Fine. So what is this? Greenhouse gases, some of the very prominent. We have discussed about the carbon dioxide, right? We have discussed about the methane, we have discussed about the nitrous oxide, and water vapors are also again serving as greenhouse gases. So these are some of the very common greenhouse gases which are responsible for the greenhouse effect, global warming, right? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, the next question says, what is PAN, P-A-N? So although if this question arises in your exam, right, in an annual exam if it arises, so PAN can be polyacrylonitrile as well, right? But over here PAN, polyacrylonitrile, again it will be coming out in your 12th standard, so no need to worry about that. PAN, if it comes up in your exam in 11th standard, it means peroxo or peroxychlorinated, followed by what? Chlorinated, and N is nitrate. Peroxochlorinated nitrate or peroxychlorinated nitrate. So one and the same thing. Here is the structure of it. And a nitrate. Fine. Clear? And yes, this is again a secondary pollutant in the photochemical smog, if you remember. Fine. Okay, now let's move on further. Next question, what is the importance of measuring BOD of the water body? So what is BOD? Biochemical oxygen demand. So that means the bacteria, right, they consume oxygen for the biodegradable degradation, right, for the degradation of the organic matter, and that is what BOD measures. This biochemical oxygen demand, it actually measures the amount of oxygen which will be utilized by the bacteria. Clear? Okay. Now, the importance of measuring. What is the importance of measuring it? Can you tell me? Again, the importance is actually finding out the amount of oxygen which is getting consumed, which is again affecting the aquatic life, so that the necessary measures can be taken up for that prevention. Fine? Okay, you can very well form the answer over here. I hope you have got it. Next one. What is photochemical smog? Discuss the possible mechanism for its formation. So what is photochemical smog? Photochemical smog is nothing but whenever it arises due to certain important pollutants, right? What are these very prominent pollutants we have got? One is NO, wait for a second, I shall write it downwards. So nitrous oxides are there, nitrogen dioxide is there along with O3, right? So what happens? See here, I need the possible mechanism for its formation. NO2 is in the environment which is coming out from the automobile exhausts. In the presence of sunlight, it gets converted into NO plus O. Now this O tries to react with oxygen, gets converted into ozone. It is also harmful. So these two things are harmful. Now these two things only which are formed, they combine with each other, leading to the formation of NO2 plus O once again, right? Clear about it? Again, there is a chain reaction which is happening, and what happens due to these pollutants basically? What happens? It can combine with the hydrocarbons, again some of the very important common pollutants in the atmosphere, combining with it, giving either formaldehyde serving as a pollutant. This is a pollutant, pan that we just have discussed. Acrolein, right, clear? So we have taken up a very general idea about it, and yes, photochemical smog is also oxidizing smog. It's also known as oxidizing smog, and it is actually formed in the presence of sunlight. You need to mention that. Fine? Okay. So that was a 2-mark question. We have justified 2 marks over here. Now let's move on further. Question number 5. Why is acid rain considered a threat to Taj Mahal? First of all, what is acid rain? You need to mention that because it's a 2-mark question. So basically these are the pollutants which are present in the atmosphere leading to the formation of acid rain. When it reacts with water vapor, it gives up certain acids, H2SO4, nitric acid, carbonic acid. So this causes the pH of the rain to reduce, right, and thereby leading to the acid rain formation. Now what happens is, Taj Mahal, it's made up of marble, right? So basically its quality is degrading because of the acid rain which is falling over it. See here, marble, it's nothing but calcium carbonate. If H2SO4 tries to react with it, we get a CaSO4, degradation of the marble, right? And again thereby is a threat to the Taj Mahal. Clear? Okay, so I hope everybody is clear with the idea. So these are some of the very important questions which can arise maybe in 1 mark, 2 mark. Now let's move on. 6th question, during an educational trip. So it's a very interesting question. A student of botany saw a beautiful lake in the village. She collected many plants from that area. She noticed that the villagers were washing the clothes around the lake. See here. They were washing the clothes around the lake, and at some places waste material from the houses was destroying its beauty. After a few years, so I need to underline this waste material as well. After a few years, she visited the same lake again. She was surprised to find out that the lake was covered with algae. Stinking smell was coming out of it, and the water had become unusable. Fine. Can you explain that what kind of a condition is this on the lake? So basically what happened due to washing of clothes, due to dumping of the waste material. Fine. So washing of clothes, it contains detergents. Dumping of the waste material, again kind of a pollutant, maybe organic wastes. Yes, and due to which what happened, you know, these detergents, these fertilizers, they add on to the algal growth, and due to this algal growth, this algae, it produces chemicals which are foul smell, right? And in fact, due to this organic waste which is in the water, biodegradation happens, but all the oxygen is consumed which is in the water present, it's consumed, leading to the death of aquatic life. Fine. And that is the only reason that now the water had become, of the lake, had become with algae and stinking with the smell, because these chemicals which it produces, the algae produces, these are foul smelling. Fine. And yes, these chemicals which are produced, these are toxic to the human beings, thereby making it unusable for the purpose. Clear? Okay. So I hope everybody has got the question that, and yes, you need to proper this answer properly, because here this answer will be requiring, it's a 2-mark question, so it will be requiring 2 to 3 lines or maybe 4 lines for the explanation. Just try to write down this in points, okay? Now, next question. Question number 7, 3-mark question. What do you understand by greenhouse effect and what are the major greenhouse gases? So we already have discussed about the greenhouse gases. So what is basically greenhouse effect if we talk about it? See, the greenhouse effect, if we talk about of its generation, from where it got evolved. So basically in colder areas, in order to again cultivate the plants, so due to the cold temperature, what happens? The plant growth is not possible. So in order for that, they develop a house, a glass house, which is known as greenhouse. There they grow the plants, right? And what happens is greenhouse effect is basically the sun rays coming in, they are trapped, they are not allowed to go outside. So the heat is trapped, making the environment inside favorable for the growth. And this greenhouse effect is basically happening on the earth itself. The greenhouse gases which are present, they are trapping the heat inside, in fact much more, which is already needed, in fact more than that, raising the temperature of the earth, leading to global warming, and that is what the greenhouse effect is. And the major greenhouse gases, we already know who are the main culprit behind this. Clear? And raising the temperature of the earth, thereby making the polar ice caps melt and leading to so many problems to us, right? Okay. Let's move on to the question number 8. How can you apply green chemistry for the following? Green chemistry means you need to employ some method which will actually be eco-friendly, which can improve our environment, can improve our surroundings. To reduce the consumption of petrol and diesel, how can you reduce the consumption of petrol and diesel? Switching to an alternative method, CNG, right? So you need to describe it properly, fine. Next one, to reduce use of synthetic detergents. So you know synthetic detergents again are very harmful for the environment. What we can use is, you know, soaps. Soaps are biodegradable, 100% biodegradable soaps are. So instead of that we can use soaps, or not soaps, but you have got an option for biodegradable detergents as well, right? Although they will also be harming the environment in some or the other way, but not as much as the synthetic detergents do, fine. Next one, to avoid the use of halogenated solvent in the dry cleaning. Remember, I have told you about the dry cleaning. What was that solvent? That was a halogenated solvent, tetrachloroethene, right? So in the earlier times it was used, again it's carcinogenic, it harms the groundwater, it pollutes the groundwater. So in order to avoid that, what we can use is, instead of this halogenated solvent, tell me, liquefied CO2 is also used these days, hydrogen peroxide is also used these days, and in fact instead of this chlorine in bleaching, hydrogen peroxide can be employed very well for an alternation, right? Clear about it? Okay. So yeah, that completes my question number 8 as well. I hope everybody has got it. Write short notes on smog, depletion of ozone layer and greenhouse effect. Smog, first of all, what is this? So you need to write a short note. Just tell about what smog is. It's smoke plus fog, we know this. So smoke plus fog. And then what you have to mention is the types of smogs. What are the types of smogs you have? It's the classical smog, describe about it. And it's the next one is photochemical smog, right? So one is the reducing smog, the other one is oxidizing smog. Classical smog is a mixture of smoke, fog plus sulfur dioxide, whereas the photochemical, it's the nitrous oxides, it's the hydrocarbons which are unburnt, right? And you can also mention that how it is formed. You can also mention that what are the drawbacks of this classical smog, and that is how you need to go on. Next one, depletion of the ozone layer. You need to write the short note. That means first of all, tell them that how the ozone layer is basically depleted. CFCs are the main culprits, chlorofluorocarbons. So basically you can also mention the reaction, right? Chlorofluorocarbon in the presence of sunlight, it got broken into free radical. This free radical combined with ozone forming ClO free radical plus O2, right? This is the thing, clear? Okay, so such reactions you can mention, that how the ozone layer is depleted. And yes, if they talk about the ozone hole, there is no need to mention about ozone hole over here as such, because it's a 3-mark question, so you can just have 2 to 3 lines including the reactions, that would be more than enough, fine. Now comes up the greenhouse effect that we have already discussed, and you can write it very well. Okay. So yeah, that completes my question number 9 as well. I hope everybody has got it. Now comes up question number 10. 5 mark question. How is ozone formed in the atmosphere? What are the causes of depletion of ozone layer? So, formation, how the ozone is formed, tell me. So, basically these are the oxygen in the presence of sunlight, it got broken into molecular oxygen. Then this molecular oxygen again combines with 1 mole of oxygen, 1 more molecule, and it gets converted into ozone. That is how the ozone is formed first of all. Clear? What are the causes of depletion? We know CFCs, right? What are the other causes of depletion of it? That is ozone hole which is getting created. You can tell about that. Explain the harmful effects for the depletion of ozone layer. So, basically first of all is the ozone layer, ozone hole, and due to this ozone hole which is getting created, what is happening is, and the depletion of the ozone layer along, there is so much of skin problems arising, right? Major is the skin cancer, and not just this, but we have got is different other problems, that is the rising temperature of the Earth's temperature, right? Thereby again leading to so many problems on the Earth. Clear? Okay. So, I hope everybody is able to write it in 5 mark, 5 mark, 2 marks will be allotted to this, 1 to this and 1 to this, right? And that is how you can divide. Clear? So, you need to write it properly. We have discussed so many things. We have discussed in fact the entire theory of it in the sessions. You can refer to that. And yes, I am not going to discuss this all of these entire answers. If still you have any doubt, you can again go through this particular session. If not, then you can very well revise it once again. So, I will be back in the next session with the next chapter. Till then, have a nice day.